What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. I am thrilled to have you all here today on another edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's been a really fun week as we've really gotten the ball rolling once again. And for the first time in 3 years of running the show, Gavin finally has admin privileges. He has finally earned, I'm just kidding, it's because the software finally updated, which you would think would be easier than what it should be, where it usually is allowed to be able to have access to different admins. But hey, as you just saw, Gavin gave me the bad take buzzer, so he now has full access to that as well. And on top of all of that, I am once again in a new location. It is Thursday, so we do owe an explanation to the crowd. We'll talk about in a little bit the huge anticipation that we've been waiting for a new up-and-coming show that's coming onto our network, as you can also see, brought to you by O'Hara's Club and Restaurant in New York City. We have to get a day where we both wear these shirts. I don't know how I got this shirt, but in all seriousness, Gavin, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Zach. Listen, it's about time that I can now display. So, ladies and gentlemen, when Zach goes on his little bad takes about LeBron James, I can just do this for y'all. Okay, it didn't work, but I'm gonna give him the buzzer. Best believe it. For Zach, yeah, I'm doing great. Nice outside. I went to town today for a little bit. How you doing today?
Doing good. Busy morning work and setting up some things. Of course, we'll chat about that in a little bit. But overall, it's been a good week. I'm excited to be here. It is our last official week of summer, but the weather's beautiful outside. I do have to go outside and golf at some point. We do have to figure out a time to get that going again. But with that being said, we got to get to it because we do have some pretty exciting things to cover today. Of course, last night the Philadelphia Phillies pretty easily put off the win. It got a little close. The Reds were coming back and fighting, but the Phillies kept scoring runs. It really wasn't close at all. The score tightened up at the end, but nothing beyond too major. But of course, the big news, Bryce Harper in Lehigh Valley continuing to crush it. Had a walk-off last night. And Bryce Harper will be returning to the Phillies lineup for the first time in over 60 days tomorrow, which is a huge, huge deal for the Philadelphia Phillies. So for the first time in, feels like forever, the MVP will be back in the Phillies lineup. So, Gavin, I got to ask you, Bryce Harper getting back in the line, the hunt for Red October, it is here. We've been sitting here talking about it. I've been complaining about the Phillies don't have a single hitter above 300. With this team right now, 14 games above 500. If they win tonight, they're 15 games above 500. They're 1.5 games above the Padres. They're 2.5 games above the Milwaukee Brewers, which are the first team out. With the schedule the Phillies have coming up, one more game against Cincinnati, 3 games against Pittsburgh at home, 3 games in San Francisco, 3 games in Arizona, a couple games against 6 games against the Braves, and 3 games against the Astros. Do the Phillies have what it takes to make the playoffs this year with the addition of Bryce Harper?
Well, there's a strong chance because of what number 3 brings to the table. Zach, you're talking about a guy that is, well, a 2-time MVP, all right, led the league in home runs at one point in his career. We all know what Bryce Harper brings to the table. But the defensive side is what gets overlooked the most. Heck, I'm tired of looking at Nicholas Castellanos and Wright or Kyle Schwarber. Like, these guys are not. They're not. I don't want to say they're bad fielders because they're better than me. They're better than the average person. But it's just when you have MV3 in the right field, you know his arm is dangerous. He could throw people out from going to third or going home. And Zach, you talk about 300 hitter. He was the Phillies 300 hitter. All right, you needed one. My only concern is this. Now, I saw what he did to those 4 pitchers in AAA, Zach. That's not even fair.
Only his 27th game ever in AAA, by the way. Fun fact.
There's got to be a record at some point or somewhere. But, Zach, they're only AAA pitchers. They don't throw, and I'm not trying to, because there's some former MLB players there, but there's just a different feel, the intensity and everything that you're going to be thrown into. I know Bryce Harper can handle it, but I wonder if he could just step right into the box tomorrow night and be the same guy he was 2 months ago before he got hurt. That's a long time. Zach, you know better than I do. You were a coach. Isn't the pace different when you go from, after not playing for a long time to coming back and now this is what you have? Zach, I couldn't imagine what it's going to be. I wouldn't expect anything from the first 4 days back from Harper, but he'll be hot. But to answer your question, Zach, Red October, if he could get hot, I believe there's a chance. but I'm not going to sell myself on it. But I believe there is a chance.
Yeah, the Phillies right now currently sitting 69 and 55. I just mentioned a few minutes ago. They are ahead. They are second playoff spot. So they are pushing ahead. The Padres have been struggling to catch on. Again, the Phillies have a better record than the Padres for all of our pessimists out there. I know that a couple of days ago, Phillies did not have a great series against the Mets, but they bounced right back. They're doing what they do best, which is they're beating teams that are consistent, that are worse than them. They're doing what they're supposed to do, beating the bad teams, getting the majority. Tonight, they go for the sweep against the Cincinnati Reds as we wrap up the Phillies talk. Tonight, Aaron Nola on the mound, a 3.25 ERA, and is 8-10 this season, absolute criminal record. It is not a representation of how well he's been pitching. Up against Dunn tonight for the Cincinnati Reds, who's 1-1 with a 6.08 ERA. I mean, it's hard to beat a team 4 games in a row, but Gavin, this team should win tonight. Bryce Stott, Alec Boehm's going to heat up. Castellanos is already hot. Schwarber is way due for a home run. The Phillies should win this game relatively easy tonight. And I expect a gem from Nola. I expect 7 strong innings, 1 or 2 runs, if that. If Nola wants to be a dominant pitcher, who Gavin called the number 1 ace on this team, and I really don't disagree with it, but I have to say, if Aaron Nola is going to be that guy, if he's going to be pitching in October, and he's going to be that guy that's able to go out there against Brewers team or a Padres team or a Cardinals team that can sit him down as they come up to the plate, he has to be perfect almost tonight. Almost lights out tonight against Cincinnati. No excuses for it. A bad outing tonight will give me a lot of concerns. This is your best pitcher. He has to do his job in these moments. It's almost September, the death month for the Philadelphia Phillies. The death month, Gavin, for Aaron Nola. He needs to change that narrative this year if he wants to have any chance of being able to move forward as a very good pitcher and get some playoff games on his resume.
Chad, that's a hard narrative to beat, especially he had a down year. What was it, a year ago or 2 years ago? Don't quote me on that, but I feel like he could do it. Zach, the record does not reflect the play. Okay, we all know how that goes. No decisions, or
he really should be like 12-6.
I don't know about 12-6.
On the Mets, the way he's been pitching, he'd probably be 15-3.
18.
I mean, 8-10 is horrible, and that's not even on him. It is not on him. I am not a big fan of how records play a role. Like last night, Brad Hand got the win. Did Brad Hand deserve that win after a blown save? Come on.
It's almost criminal how that system.
It is. I've probably 15 tweets saying whoever got the win is criminal. I'm pretty sure I tweeted Brad Hand getting that win is criminal a few months ago when he did the exact same thing, and then the offense walked it off in the bottom of the ninth. It's good to see the offense. It's just for some reason they can't play well against the Mets. I don't understand it. Add Bryce Harper back, get some more consistency. Rob Thompson's got to do a little better. Brandon Marsh, once he gets healthy, he's back in the lineup. It's going to be a huge boost in center field. There's a lot to look forward to, but I'm going to relax. I'm going to keep myself even-toned as September plays through. But they got such an easy schedule right now. They have like 9 games left against teams above 500. They have 30-some games left, a little bit over 30. All you got to do is just win. Just win these games. Get 20 games above 500. I mean, I'll count right now. You have tonight. All right, you have 3 games against Pittsburgh. That's 4 games. And then you have the Diamondbacks for 3 games. That's 7. And then they have the Giants for 3. That's 10. Marlins for 3. That's 13. Nationals for 3. That's 16. Marlins for 3. That's 19. 19 games between now and playing the Atlanta Braves. Win 13 or 14 of those games. And they're in a good position. That's 9 more games than now. They'd be 23 games above 500. That is beyond exceptional. And that's all you got to do. Beat the teams that are worse than you. Last night, Christopher Sanchez went out there. They still won, giving their pitchers a day off. It's time to dial in. It's time to step up right now. 19 games, 22 days from now. That's 3 weeks, a little bit over 3 weeks from now. If my calendar wants to cooperate, I'll tell you exactly when in September that is. The September collapse, if it happens, we have the 15th of September. Halfway through September is before we play a team above 500. And we can be 23 games above in a pretty realistic world if that happens.
Let me ask you this question.
All I have on the Phillies before we go around the MLB.
Let me ask you this quick question. Quick, if I can. All right. Let's say they don't make Red October, right? Let's say we don't get what we want. Let's say we missed it by a little bit.
I don't see how they do.
Okay, but let's just be real. If we had to like calm our expectation down, and what can go wrong will go wrong at any point in given time. Not saying it will. Would you be disappointed? Would you call this a failure season? I wouldn't, because
I would.
Okay. Well, why would you?
unless they're more than 10 games above 500, because there's no they're playing. If they lose to every team that's above 500, that's 9 games. They'd still be 5 games above 500 if they go 500 against these next 19 games. If they do well and they're 17 games above 500 after those, then yeah, I'm going to be very disappointed. 17 games above 500 makes the playoffs.
Zach,
I think 88 wins should make the playoffs this year. And according to literally all probabilities, they should have well above 88 wins at the end of this year. So at this point, I am officially locking in, and I'm going to use the buzzer for this, even though it's not the right time. I'm locking in a Phillies Red October. They make the playoffs for the first time since 2011.
You know what? The buzzer was a good idea because that might be a bad take right there. Zach, here's why. It shows me if they don't make playoffs, as much crushed I would be. And I was the person that came on here and said, they will. I had to look at this year and be like, well, you dealt with injuries. You dealt with a manager change.
Yeah, but look at where they are now. Those aren't excuses for the next. If they implode in these next 19 games, you can't blame the injuries that happened in July for what happened in September. If they're healthy in September, there are no excuses.
They shouldn't be here. What we saw in the beginning of the year and the injuries and everything, I understand where they are now. It's kind of hard. I get it. But just saying, they shouldn't be here.
Why not? They have some of the best hitters in baseball. At the beginning of the year, people thought we were the best offense in the league.
I know, because I was the one.
Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto, who has not lived up to his contract. Bryson Stott, the first overall pick. Alec Boehm, the 3rd overall pick in the draft. There is no reason. Mickey Moniak, the 1st overall pick in the draft, has since been traded. There is no reason to believe the Phillies shouldn't have been here.
But Zach,
all the excuses to this point are invalid because the Phillies are 14 games above 500 and are currently well in the playoffs.
As much as I want them to go to the playoffs, I understand it.
It's a failure. If they don't go to the playoffs, unless the Brewers and the Padres win every game from here on out, if the Phillies don't make the playoffs, it's because they didn't do good against the Reds, the Pirates, the Diamondbacks, the Giants. That's it, and that's inexcusable. That's inexcusable.
But what I'm trying to say to you is, if they don't go and they're still, like above 100, at least I could look at this and be like, damn.
That's different. I said if they don't go to the playoffs because the Brewers and the Padres get red hot, that's different. If the Phillies finish with anything less than 88 wins, this will be an utter failure of a season, which is 7 games above 500.
That's what I'm saying.
They're currently 14. It's impossible to be to.
If they should be above 14-game lead over 500, I will be livid. All right, I will be tearing posters down. All right, but what I'm gonna say to you is, even if they miss out, remember when in football, it was either the NFC South or was it the NFC West? One of those divisions, I think it was NFC West, where 3 teams were above 500. They all looked playoff bound, and 1 team got left out. What I'm trying to say is, if the Phillies were still above 500, but magically got left out,
they have to be at least 88 wins, or else it's a failure, in my opinion.
For me, 88 wins are fine, as long as it's not a losing record. Because I can look at it and say, damn, they had a horrible year with managers. It changed it. It's not good. It's not an excuse. But at least I can come back and say next year.
It's not an excuse because they're currently in the playoffs.
Next year you can come back and say, we're going to the playoffs. At least I said they're competitive. That's all I wanted. Before they couldn't beat bad teams. But now they're beating up on some, and not all.
If they beat bad teams, they should have no problem over the next 3 weeks.
That's what
they have 3 weeks before they even lick a team that is above 500.
Dodgers, Yankees, Blue Jays, they all beat up on the bad team, and when they have to play against each other, more Yankees and Blue Jays, they always split. All you gotta do is beat up the bad team.
Yankees have done nothing but be terrible. Okay. That'd be a talk for another day. All right. That wraps up the Phillies talk. They play tonight, 7:05. Aaron Nola on the mound. Let's hope to get a win. It is now time to do my favorite segment, Around the MLB. We'll start with yesterday's games and move into the games that are going on right now, as well as the games that are happening tonight. Braves beating the Pirates 14-2 yesterday. Tigers over the Giants 6-1. Rangers over the Rockies 16-4. Athletics beating the Marlins by a score of 3-2. Guardians beating the Padres 7-0. Nationals over the Mariners 3-1. White Sox over Orioles 5-3. Of course, the Philadelphia Phillies winning yesterday 7-5 over the Cincinnati Reds. The Rays winning by a score of 4-3 over the Angels. Blue Jays beating the Red Sox 3-2. Cubs over the Cardinals, helping the Phillies out a little bit there. 7-1 was the final score in that one. Royals beating the Diamondbacks 5-3. Astros beating the Twins by a score of 5-3 as well. And, of course, 12-6 win for the Dodgers over the Milwaukee Brewers, another one that helps the Phillies. At the moment, we do have 2 games that are complete. The first one being the Rays over the Angels 8-3, and the second one being the Cardinals beating the Cubs by that same score 8-3. Currently, the Mariners and the Guardians are playing 3-1 as a score in Seattle, with Seattle in the lead. And a few other games tonight, including White Sox, Orioles in Baltimore, Reds and Phillies in Philadelphia, Blue Jays, Red Sox in Fenway Park. Rockies visit to the New York Mets in Citi Field, Twins and Astros in Houston, and the Yankees visit the Athletics in the Coliseum tonight. So a lot of exciting things going around in the MLB. Now coming up after this, Eagles, Dolphins, practice canceled, non-COVID sickness. Eagles still practiced, but they practiced by themselves. What does this all mean? And will there even be a game this weekend? There should be. Stay tuned.
What's up, everyone? Make sure you join the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show weekdays on Facebook and YouTube to hear about all there is in the sports world. Celebrating the 3rd year, Zach and Gaven Tony break down all the controversial topics from who is the real GOAT of the NBA to if the Phillies will ever make the playoffs again.
All right, we got 2 more things to cover. They are both in the NFL. First of all, the Miami Dolphins not playing with the Eagles today. It's a stomach bug going around just to slow it down or whatever. The game will likely happen Saturday night. Eagles out there by themselves today getting practice on Miami's practice field. Not much else for to look into from that, but overall what we've heard for the most part, Eagles have looked pretty solid. Jalen Hurts has had a little bit of a struggle this week, but take their word for it until you actually see it. And just again, one storyline to follow, Tua and Jalen Hurts. Of course, Tua replacing Jalen Hurts, and then, of course, the opposite happening in next year's SEC championship before Jalen Hurts ultimately did decide to transfer to Oklahoma once Tua won that job. Gavin, what do you take from this? Of course, not too much from preventing a virus from spreading, especially as serious as stomach bugs, but we do expect a game to happen this weekend. And just overall, the Tua versus Jalen saga that I guess is still a storyline since it was at Alabama.
Well, it's like when I first read that this morning, I was actually shocked because as much as you think of NFL players being gladiators and fighting through everything, a simple stomach bug as an average person was able to shut down a whole side of a team. I don't know. It's like I was shocked by that. I mean, it's nothing too serious. I mean, we all know how the stomach bug is, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't believe in reports that I hear. You have to visually see it. It's like I saw a video of Jalen Hurts dropping dimes in practice to A.J. Brown and other receivers in the one hype video that the Eagles dropped. You know, I know a hype video doesn't show everything, but it's like neither do reporters. They don't always tell the truth. It's one bad week. All right, it might have been one bad day. It's like I still have high hopes for Jalen Hurts this season of just improvement. This is his job to lose. We know how this team does. The Eagles win when they can run the football effectively and when the quarterback makes the right decisions. The defense is going to be phenomenal this year. I'm high on defense. Like I told you, Nakobe Dean is going to be a star. Jordan Davis, the 2 Georgia boys. Howie actually got smart and picked people from the SEC. It's like I've been crying about that. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to a conference.
The last 2 years have been very SEC heavy. Devontae Smith,
yeah, Landon Dickerson,
See what happens. Weren't we saying this a few years ago? Just draft SEC players, draft Alabama guys, draft Georgia guys, draft.
If you're going to draft outside of
should have drafted an LSU wide receiver a few years ago, but maybe wouldn't have gotten Smith if it was for that. But A.J. Brown, traded for an SEC guy. Ole Miss.
Could have had him in the original time. But Zach, that's neither here nor there. All I'm just saying is this team is going to be fine. I'm not really worried about reports about 1 week. And finally, Zach, I think joint practice is just dumb. I really do. Did you see the video today coming out of practice between the Bengals and the Rams?
That was the next thing I wanted to cover. What the heck happened there? Aaron Donald appeared to be swinging helmets. First of all, you shouldn't do joint practices for flights longer than an hour and a half. The Bengals and the Rams are about more than 4-hour flight from each. We got Cincinnati and we got LA. So first of all, they're too far to be practical in doing preseason activities. Number 2, they just played each other in the Super Bowl. We're not trying to boost preseason ticket sales. There's so much bad blood between the 2 teams. One of the teams just took a Lombardi from the other one. So who thought that was a good idea to have those 2 together? Am I missing? Am I wrong? Like that sounds like a pretty logical. I wouldn't mix the 2. Why would you mix the 2? No one's watching. You're not selling preseason tickets. What's the big deal? I think that's so stupid. That really was a bad decision. Whoever was in charge of that in the NFL, that was just a really, really just dumbfounded decision. I don't understand it at all. You are stealing a Lombardi from the other team. Joe Burrow and Eli Apple and all these other guys who are there, they're very upset, obviously. Hello, use a little common sense. They're too far from each other. It's not like the Rams and the Chargers, which played last week. That makes sense. You're playing in the same stadium. But when it comes to playing a team 4 hours away during preseason and two teams that have bad blood with each other in the first place, why are you doing it? And I mean, we're going to have to hear. I saw one video of Aaron Donald swinging a helmet down. There's going to be more. That wasn't just a backyard video. There's going to be some things happening here in the next coming days in regards to discipline and things like that. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to come from it since it's a preseason or a practice or whatever. But that was not a good idea from the start for many, many reasons.
Zach, practice brawls are always normal. We see them every year. You don't see the Bills and the Chiefs practicing together yet.
No.
You don't see the Rams and the 49ers practicing together yet. Matter of fact, you don't practice with division rivals. You notice that? You don't see the Cowboys and
Eagles play with the Browns and the Dolphins, and they play against the Jets week 1.
Like, you don't see. It's like, this is. I don't get the agenda here, and the setting is we're gonna see serious consequences from what the video I saw. It does not look good. It does not look good. It looked pretty violent.
Yeah.
Think about it. The media crucified Myles Garrett for his act, right? It's like we know how bad that act was. What Myles Garrett did. Aaron Donald got a couple of swings off. I mean, I don't know if he hit anybody, but this is just stupid. Now you're gonna risk losing people for a long period of time. Zach, I've been against the whole joint practice and for the longest time, and I'm just not a big fan of it.
Certainly, and I am a fan of joint practices because I think it allows you to have real competition, but in a controlled environment. If they were just strategic with it, I think you could have avoided this.
I don't think you can avoid this.
Draws happen, but nothing.
Yeah, but you don't put two teams that just played each other. Zach, me, you both said it.
No, you don't. That's not because of joint practices. That's because of just stupidity.
Okay,
whoever scheduled that.
Okay, but I think joint practices is dumb from just as a start. I just don't like the idea of another team coming into your own facility and then practice. I just don't like that. I like to hide my. Okay, this makes more sense. If you're coming with an offense, Zach,
it's just a controlled, safer simulation.
No,
and then you really don't have the starters play during the game.
I want people to know nothing about what goes on with my team until the season starts. That's me.
All right. I mean, that's one way to look at
it.
I'm
against preseason games. I think they're pointless. I really think preseason games are pointless. At least 3 of them. Maybe have one or two. I don't know, but 3 is.
I would have 3 weeks of joint practices, and I would have one preseason game.
No, one preseason game and no joint practices.
So
I don't see the point.
For those just tuning in, we are reporting on not reports, but video of Aaron Donald swinging a helmet at a couple of Cincinnati Bengal players. More will come out. Let's see if Twitter has any updates. Before, yes, you can see on the bottom of the screen as well. I know we've been talking about it all week. Yes, within the next 3 minutes, we will be announcing a special announcement. It's something worth looking at. You do not see every day a guy swinging his helmet at other players. Then again, we've now seen it twice. And it's a shame we were not on the show back then because that would have been a fun day to report.
I think when I first saw that, I was like, ooh, I wonder what Mason Rudolph said. I wasn't even mad at Myles Garrett at first. I'm going to get you don't do that, but I was like, I wonder what he said. That's the first thing that came to my mind. What did Mason Rudolph say? We would never know.
I mean, he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year last year, so no matter what your opinion is on it, it was a good bounce back year for him. Let's see. I don't see anything new. So we will have to. Oh my! 2 helmets in his hand. I'm going to share this real quick before we move on, because this is actually a pretty bad. This is not something worth. So anyone who's watching right now, this is what we're looking at. Aaron Donald with 2 helmets in his hand. You can see Sean McVay on the left side, a coach for the Bengals on the right. I do not have a video at the moment, but if we do find a video,
try Schefter's Twitter if you can.
We'll certainly show it to you. But this is
Try to shut his Twitter. I think he has it up there. I know he has it on his.
Oh, I got it. I'm gonna pull it up. I have the audio for it. All right. So now going to show you viewer discretion is advised. It is Aaron Donald with helmets in his hand, and he is appearing to swing them towards Bengals players. You can see guys getting separated there. Go back to the beginning of the video. Those helmets flying. Those are coming up Aaron Donald. As you can see, the players that are being hit with them do have helmets on. So it's not in the same way of Mason Rudolph where it was directly on the head. So yeah, that is the video of it. So something we are going to continue to keep an eye on. But yeah, that's something
That could be 10 games right there. That could be 10 games right there.
It could be. We're going to see how the NFL decides to cover that. But hey, listen, PGA final tournament started today, the Tour Championship in East Lake. We'll keep track of that throughout the week. Show back here tomorrow. We will see if we have any weekend festivities coming up as well, possibly some Eagles report. But now, Gavin, the time has come. The long anticipation. There will be an official announcement through social media in less than an hour and a half. But now, the big announcement that the More Than Philly Sports Network has been holding on to, and I've been teasing on social media for the last week. Enjoy. All right, there it is, Gavin. We are proud to officially introduce our first personal branded show. Gavin will certainly be having a show come on as we kind of learn to access these admin controls. That's part of it. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I've had the idea for a little while. I gave Gavin a call earlier this week as I began to start looking into it. As we know, sports is a passion of mine. It is something that I have loved discussing for the last 3 years on this show. As someone whose dad at some point was in broadcasting and brother currently does broadcasting, this has been obviously a passion. I've enjoyed using my voice to share. Gavin and I have had a lot of passionate discussions on here, sports and life related. And we figured that we would add on to that. And what the Zach Star Show is essentially going to do, it's my way of kind of just chilling in a suit for an hour and having some really cool guests on and just kind of airing out my thoughts on certain things. Specifically more talking about what I work on other non-sport related activities, such as the business world that I work in and just life, personal development, growth. I know people are interested. Some may not know how serious I take my health and fitness, but I think that it's certainly something that is part of my life that I know isn't always in front of the screen. I have developed over the years a high level of comfortability, myself and Gavin in front of the screen, talking about myself and just learning about what life consists of. And I know not everybody, which is fine, has the confidence to be willing to sit behind a screen and just air out for an hour a day. But after 3 years of doing it, I realized that it's time to continue it on a larger scale, continue it on a scale of beyond just sports. And we've had a chance to interview DeMarco Murray, Matt Cord, which is possible coming back, by the way, a couple other really exciting guests that we're going to have on this show. But this is it's another opportunity to keep extending our voices and keep extending what we do and where we work and everything that we work on together. So it's going to be fun. And I know a lot of people, I try to keep myself a little more modest. I don't overly shout every little thing that I work on from a day-to-day basis, but it's going to be a fun opportunity to do that. And I interact with a lot of different people, a lot of people that gather, and I know that we just had amazing discussions with deep talks and all that. I think are worthwhile having those conversations on the screen and allowing people to just hear it and understand that there are other opportunities out there. There are other things to look forward to. So in order to support us, of course, make sure you're following More Than Philly on Instagram. That's very important, as well as Twitter. That's where we post most of our updates. We live stream on YouTube as well as Facebook. And on top of all of that, the Zach Star Show will also be on the same platforms. You can just type in the Zach Star Show. It's not the most popular username, so I was able to secure it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So take a look there, and appreciate you guys giving us a follow. Gavin's been a big part of this so far. He's going to be one of our first guests on the show, actually, which is going to be cool to sit back and just talk about stuff outside of sports and just kind of break that down. And overall, he's to be a big part of it. He has admin access to the YouTube and here on our software. So I could be scary things coming up in the future. He's gotten familiar with the soundboard very quickly. So overall, just everyone who supported us so far, I know it's been a little inconsistent. We found our routine. We figured out what works best. And I'm just really excited to keep going with it. Gavin, thank you as always. And it's been a fun run. We started this just after our junior year in high school, and we're now sophomores in college. So time flies just like that.
Time flies when you're having fun, Zach. I'm excited for this because not a lot of people know what you do outside of this. We always get, well, where you guys been? I'm like, guys, Zach is a businessman. This show is gonna be awesome because it gives like an opportunity to see the other side of you, not the sports side, the CEO side. That's why I call him the CEO, Sir Zachary Starr. It's in the phone, all right. And every time I answer the phone, the CEO, because his company is next, right?
Nice.
You guys are gonna learn a whole bunch about it. Just go through the mind of Zach Starr, and it's crazy. This guy is gonna be president one day. I'm
Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know if I'm.
What, you want to do it? You want to save America?
I'm not a big fan of politics. It automatically divides you in half, and I like to unify.
There you go, Zach. Zach, save Zach Starr, save America. There you go. I just got
be a good slogan for me. That's for sure.
America. But all jokes aside, guys, this show is gonna be awesome. We're gonna have it's gonna be a whole bunch of people, from some familiar faces to some faces you never know or haven't seen before, and then of course, just enjoy, man. Like that's the whole point of why we started. We started for 3 reasons: unite through sports in a time where it was just rough in the world through lockdown and everything else. So now having another show that, honestly, Zach, I'm just excited for it. Like I'm gonna be the first one. Like, who booked that? Who gave me the idea? Like who's giving me an hour? Is it an hour or is it 30 minutes? Is that undecided?
It's gonna be. I think there are gonna be interviews that are gonna easily run over an hour. Yourself will probably be an hour and a half, 2 hours when we're on talking about just everything. We're gonna touch on New York and stuff beyond that and aspiration and things like that. So some shows are going to be an hour. Some shows are going to be closer to a half hour. Some where it's just myself talking about certain stories. Like for those who don't know, I coached at Fuga Middle School this year. We went 12-0, and then I just actually it's going to be a pre-recorded thing, but that's about a 25-minute episode. So they're going to vary. It's not going to be every single day, but if you keep track of social media, there's going to be enough live streams, a lot of everything. I have someone that I know that started a company of an athletic tape that actually shoots electromagnetic fields into you or something along that lines that actually allows to help increase muscle recovery. I have a friend that's a pilot in aviation that I'm going to be having on. So we're going to touch on everything. Life is bigger than sports. I've been very big on that. Now that I coach baseball, my farewell message to my players, as much as I love baseball and you want to play as long as you can,
it's retiring.
There's things that are bigger than just sports. And as much as we love it, I love sports because it's everyone's relaxed state. We can argue about sports, but it's never going to be personal because it's just sports. It's something fun. There's nothing like sports, right? That's the ESPN motto. There's nothing like sports. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but you get the point. And in the business world, there are some things that are stressful. There are some things that are heavy. And on this show, we try not to be too heavy. We've had a few shows where we've done it. This show will definitely be a little more emotional. You'll probably see a little bit different of a side of me that I'm not usually prone to opening up and doing. But I'm willing to do it now because I think it's important that people see that side. And it's important for people to understand what goes on behind the scenes because a lot happens beyond just the camera. And I mean that literally when it comes to the fact that this used to be just my laptop with a white backdrop. Now I got lights and another camera and a whole studio. I'll have to do a tour in here for the show. But I also mean it figuratively, where we just have just life in general happens. And that's a good enough answer. Someone says, "What are you doing?" Just living life. And that's a good enough answer sometimes because everyone has their definition of what makes life, what makes them happy. And it's important to emphasize that and show it. So I'm excited. Of course, I'm excited to keep talking sports. I can't emphasize enough how much this is staying and how this was important to get to the next step. But at the same time, I'm really excited to start this new journey and see what we can add and who we can influence. And if I get someone on that show to talk about their business endeavors, but they're big into sports, you damn well know they're going to be on this show as well.
Zach, I'm just excited. And for those who don't know, we were talking about always expanding, adding to the channel and to our network. And we explored. We wanted to get Zach's brother Jake and his co-host on. When they couldn't run think it's over winter break when we're at home. So we're still exploring options. We also exploring options. Zach, I know we talk about this a lot. We're exploring options of having like a little just podcast where we come on and there's no agenda. We're just talking. Like how we are off camera, we just bring it on here and just have fun and just joke. But the future is we're Philly After Hours.
That would be another show as well. We'll probably be doing it weekend nights, once or twice a month. So that would be fun as well. The More Than Philly After Hours. But we got a lot going on. We promised, and we deliver. We have a lot of things going on behind the scenes. We started out this week with a round of applause, sound effect, and a buzzer. We went through halfway through the week with him having a recorded ad, and now we actually have some new shows that we're adding to the network.
And guys, y'all know I don't like listening to myself on playback. So every time I hear the commercial, it's odd for me.
I got used to it. I've listened to hundreds of hours of our shows, and it's been great. You get used to your own voice. So you got to play it back more, I guess.
It's funny for those who don't know, because my mom asked. She's like, "How did you get yourself on a commercial and you didn't go to Zach's house to do it?" I said, "Easy." I said, "I stood in my room, turned off everything, all the fans, no noise, had an iPad, read my script, sent it over, all by just sitting right here. So will I be possibly hopping on more? I don't know, guys. Like I said,
we're gonna keep making them. We're gonna update the Teespring, get some more shirts going, and I'm finally back on that work as well. So it's gonna be really enjoyable. A lot to look forward to.
Do you want to mention the organization we ran? We came across in New York, or do you want to say that?
I do have to pull it up, and I want to go into the website and share it when that time's up. But yeah, we did meet someone in New York that had a really good organization that she's a part of. So we have to get that, and we'll have to share it with you all once I took a picture of the badge, so it's on my phone. I'll have to formalize it, and then we'll do that.
She had a great sales pitch. She said, she's like, "Ooh, a guy in a suit. You must be a businessman. Let's have a chat."
Within seconds of walking off the subway.
Not even. It was like 3 steps, and you were already being summoned.
Yeah, when you're wearing a suit in broad daylight during the week after like 6 o'clock, you stand out.
Especially to bees, Zach. Especially bees.
That is true. But yeah, we'll get to Brooklyn again too. I've been looking at that. I referred that restaurant to a few people that are going to Brooklyn, so we'll run that back as well. But no,
if you go to Samson's, Ayana, that's the family right there.
Maybe we'll do a show from there next.
Maybe, yeah,
that'd be fun. But certainly, listen, this has been awesome. I'm having a blast. We're having the most fun that we have ever had, ever.
It was not 80, it was 90, but that was
it was hot. It was a hot day, and the bees were present. So
going with be in New York, got him 3 times, ladies and gentlemen.
Crazy, and it's still recovering. But yeah, we're having the most fun we've ever had on here. Honestly, it's nice to have consistency. We got some more views popping up, so keep pushing, everybody. We appreciate you all. Next Monday, I'll have the official time, probably tomorrow, for the first edition of the Zach Star Show. Hope to see you all there because it's going to be a really fun, different type of show.
And feel free, guys. Feel free to comment. Like, everybody knows. I always look at the comments. Zach, how many times I'm always laughing in comments, smiling at something. I like interacting with people. If we do Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, More Than Philly After Hours, come hop on. Come join us. Like, it's gonna be fun. We're just trying to be alive. We went missing for a little while, but we're coming back with the fire. So I hope you guys are ready.
Next time we're in New York, we're gonna live stream from O'Hara's.
O'Hara's? I see you went. I went to Simpsons. I went there.
They're both good places, as you can tell. New York City's got some fun stuff. But listen,
if you had to pick one, hold on. I know this. We're gonna get back to this thing. If you had to pick one, like you're going to New York, you're hungry. You're going to pick one. Where are you going?
Still haven't gotten the O'Hara's French.
Okay, but from the atmosphere, where are you going?
I know it's unfair. We went to O'Hara's at night, and we went to the Simpsons during the day. They're both. I mean, the Simpsons had great food. I mean, that was some of the best food I've ever had.
The Caribbean's undefeated.
Yeah, well, it was really good.
Caribbean's undefeated. I had a jerk chicken sandwich, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds good. Yeah, it was a fun trip, and we're gonna when Gavin, you guys trying to get a sneak peek of what it's gonna look like on Zach Star Show.
We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna open up.
We are.
Documentary, tell-all book.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. It'll be a great time. But yeah, checking the sports world again. Aaron Donald, Bengals. We're gonna check up on that. That's probably the top story on ESPN at the moment.
Hey Zach, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? I'm just curious.
LeBron James.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well,
I had to
we'll see what
I
else
had to
time
get
goes.
down
We're
my
overdue for another GOAT debate. But just a quick look in the golf world. Scotty Scheffler is 2 under today, total 12 under. He is in first place. Matt Fitzpatrick, 6 under today, final for him. Unfortunately, Patrick Cantlay 1 over through 15. Rory McIlroy finishing even par, not his best day overall. But that, honestly, I mean, I'm checking the sports world. That's really where we stand on this Thursday, the 25th of August in 2022. I'm Zach Starr. That's Gavin Tony. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Patrick Cantlay for the win. Zach, I'm not. No jinx. No jinx.
He's 1 over, so you're already cursing him out.
Are you serious? Are you joking? Are you being for
The
real?
Gavin Tony curse is real and alive, unfortunately.
Why does it sound good, actually? I don't know why.
Embrace it. All right, thank you, everybody. Zach Starr here with Gavin Tony signing off. Until next time,
Have a good day, everybody. Stay safe.
have a good evening. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.